At a press conference held today at the Victim Center located at Kololi, lawyer Malick Jallow, representing Nyang Serang Job, a victim shot on the leg at the Deida Haidara incident, told reporters that Nyang Job will sue the government for compensation.
The judicial process that he is also going to be commencing is not stating that the government of the Gambia is to blame for what was actually done to her. All that it is saying is that because the government of the Gambia has now made a public commitment and pronouncement that it is going to compensate some of the victims of the Deida Haidara incident, we thought it is important and imperative that if you're going to compensate victims emanating from the same transaction, it is not correct and it is not in the best interest of the victims to compensate some and then leave out the others.
On the fateful day Deida Haidara was killed, Nyang Serang Job was shot on her leg. Since then, she has been going through excruciating pain, psychological issues and depression. After this incident, Nyang fled for her life and lived in exile in neighboring Senegal. Living in hardship, no source of income, Nyang Serang Job is a direct victim under the international human rights law and thus should be provided a compensation by the human rights, and not being compensated is potentially discriminating her. The case will be taken to the High Court, and the High Court is expected to compel the government to compensate Nyang Serang Job.
We're going to file a case against the government of the Gambia, and this case would be taken to the High Court, and what we are seeking is that the High Court compels the government of the Gambia to provide compensation for Nyang Serang Job, and to also find that the decision to compensate some of the victims of the Deida Haidara incident and to leave out Nyang is discriminatory and is in violation of her rights, human rights essentially, as enshrined under the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia.
After this incident, Nyang fled for her life and lived in exile in neighboring Senegal. Living in hardship, no source of income, Nyang Serang Job is a direct victim under the international human rights law and thus should be provided a compensation by the human rights, and not being compensated is potentially discriminating her. The case will be taken to the High Court, and the High Court is expected to compel the government to compensate Nyang Serang Job. The TRRC is not a mainstream substitute to justice, said lawyer Malick Jallow.
It is important, especially in light of the fact that the TRRC is already operational now. So some would be asking, why are you going to court? Why are you not waiting for the TRRC? I mean, we hasten to add that the TRRC is not a substitute to the mainstream justice facility.
Ajakadi Sanyang, Star TV.